and welcome this week to our Bad Bookers podcast. This is episode 3. My name is Smoothman. Hello. Everybody else, say hello, please.
Hello.
Hello, please.
First things first. This week has been horrendous. As all of you avid listeners will know, a certain thing happened this week where I had to record probably the worst theme known to wrestling history.
I don't think it did really good. I think it did very well.
Let's get it
if
over.
Teaching doesn't work out for you, you've got a singing career ahead.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, thank you guys. You're too kind. Let's get it over and done with. What we'll do is our lovely editor, Chris, will put in the aforementioned Nia Jax cover by yours truly here. I'm not like most girls who only take just what they're given, like a plastic little princess. Lucky for me, I'm not like those girls who only take it all for granted. All they got is what they're handed. Lucky for me, I'm not like most girls. Well, that is... Oh, it's just so bad.
It's wonderful. I don't know what you're on about. It's wonderful.
The thing that I'm really annoyed about is a certain Kev. Kev, if you're listening, this is a shoot promo right now in your face. Me and you... Wrestlemania weekend. Let's get it on. Me and you.
You're talking wrestling here, right?
I am talking wrestling. I'm talking... Well, it's competitive, and he doesn't do competitive sport because of his ACL injury, so it might have to be thumb war or something, I don't know. The other thing that I think was quite funny is at least I didn't have to go to Amsterdam and back in a day.
Oh,
that is true. That is true.
Have you watched the video?
Oh, I thought it was brilliant. Stephen Tries actually tweeted Jack about it because Stephen Tries is pretty famous YouTuber now. Tweeted was it Jack the Jobber about it, which is a good job on him, to be honest, and they get a bit more notoriety and all that. It was a bloody good video. I thought it was hilarious.
It was, and the fact that they put in King Ross, I'm on holiday, guys. I don't have fun. Was brilliant.
Yeah. Top work.
Anyway, let's get into this week. What a week it's been. What a week.
Yes. Yes.
Very good week of wrestling.
Should we get it over and done with?
Good
old Daniel. We've got to start with Daniel. Daniel Bryan. I think I had parents' evening last night, so this came out just before parents' evening had started. So by the time I'd finished and got out at 7:30 last night, I had tweets galore that I've been tagged in going, have you seen this? I can't believe it.
A bit out of the blue as well.
Yeah,
Definitely. They announced it, to be fair.
It's
I thought they would have left it for SmackDown and then...
No, I mean, at first I thought that... they should have kept it secret, they should have waited. But I figured the reason why they didn't was because he gets more people watching SmackDown that night. I bet the viewing figures
the way it blew up was
huge.
insane.
Oh, yeah, it was trending worldwide within about half an hour, which is insane.
It just shows you how much Daniel Bryan means to the fans.
Definitely.
And the fact that everybody was distraught. I think I was close to crying when he had his retirement speech because I was like, he can't leave. He can't retire. He's got so much to give. And then seeing his promo last night was just...
it was amazing.
It was incredible. He just talked about...
Full of passion and emotion.
Oh, so much passion and emotion. Pretty much just saying it was Bree's idea and Bree told him never to give up, which I could imagine
even the hashtag Thank You Bree got trending worldwide in about 5 minutes, I think.
That's incredible.
Obviously the fact that the fans were chanting it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was awesome. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand. No what chants, nothing like that. It was total silence until Daniel gave them the chance to sort of say something, or like where he didn't have to point at the sign, he didn't have to even look at it properly, I don't think. Yeah, but then the whole crowd starts chanting Wrestlemania and starts pointing at the sign for him. Brilliant. Just
I think they'll do it, you know. I think they'll do it.
Would you do what?
They'll do WrestleMania, because if you think about it this way, the last time he was in New Orleans in that building, he won the world title.
That's true. He'll definitely go into a tag team with Shane against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I think.
Okay.
I can't see him going into a singles match straight away, because I imagine WWE would want to protect him as much as possible. And then give him the the hardest part of the ring powerbomb. I said that in inverted commas. And that, yeah. But I guess because it was the first night back as a wrestler, if you will, he wanted to kind of make a point that he can do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But did you see the fact that when he was doing those drop kicks, do you see how he was landing?
Oh, yeah. He was landing on his shoulder / neck / head. He was giving it everything. It was amazing.
Horrible. I was like, this man's just been cleared. Does he want to be retired again?
That's the adrenaline going. That's the adrenaline just... God, could you imagine doing the thing that you love and not being able to have done it for 2 years? And then, all of a sudden being now able to do it fully again to the best of your ability. Because you've known in your heart of hearts you've been fine for years, yet one doctor or one or two doctors from WWE have said, you can't do this anymore. And then to add insult to injury, we'll go, I'll tell you what, we'll pay you a lot of money, which is, okay, it's fine, a lot of money, but you are going to stand at the sidelines with all your wrestling buddies, but not be able to wrestle yourself. Good luck with that, Daniel. Enjoy yourself.
I just think fair play to WWE. I think they've done a very good job of getting more than one opinion. Like he said in his promo, he's gone to every doctor available in the country just to say that he can get cleared. And fair play to WWE, because WWE are very stubborn when it comes to things like this. Can be very, that's it.
Do you think they've known this for a little while? I.e., do you think that they've held this announcement back?
Well, he hasn't been on the last couple of SmackDowns. They said he was in Abu Dhabi or something, Saudi Arabia. So I just wonder, he was at a doctor's then, getting checked out.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean...
They do have good doctors out there, to be fair.
I thought he was only announcing it last night because I thought AJ Styles' injury was going to be a bit more serious. But, I mean, I don't understand why they haven't just left this for the biggest pop ever at Mania. I know you're not going to get the extra people coming in to watch SmackDown for a couple of weeks. You're not going to get the people who've unsubscribed to the network coming back to see what the Daniel Bryan return is. But I think it would have been the biggest pop they've ever had in anything ever if he'd have come back at Mania out of the blue.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it would have been amazing. It would have been Hardy return levels, maybe even more so. But I mean, I can see why they did it, because at the end of the day, because SmackDown's numbers are falling. The feud with KO and Zayn and Shane is just falling on its arse. But what this has done is it's given it a whole new lease of life for WrestleMania. Because that match, instead of it now being a match, is now a, Jesus, this could be amazing. I know you swore there. Jeez, this could be an amazing main event. Not main event, but certainly much higher up on the card.
But what are they going to do? Are they going to do it as a fatal four-way, or is it going to be a tag team match with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon tagging together?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, has anything actually been confirmed yet? Because
nothing's been confirmed.
I saw the fatal four-way idea being touted around. I quite like that, because at the end of the day, you could still protect Bryan in that.
Yeah.
As long as you don't make it weapon-based, you can still...
Oh, hang on.
What?
I've just seen a thing come through on Cultaholic on YouTube. I don't know if there's a new WrestleMania match being announced or something.
Go on then.
I'm just trying to find it now, because it said new WrestleMania 34.
You can tell we're totally professional here and don't, we get the big scoops, i.e. from the guys who are a lot better than us. New Japan.
But it's a YouTube video, so I can't really
What's just the title of it?
But to be fair, it's new WWE WrestleMania 34 title match announced, and I think it's just the Orton one. I think.
Yeah, it's probably good.
Well, that's the picture. It's just the US title.
Yeah, it looks like the US title. Oh, that's not as exciting as I thought it was.
My guess is it's going to be the triple threat that we all thought it was going to be anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, that kind of.
No,
you're perfectly fine.
That was like the worst climax ever.
You're fine. You've only sort of killed all the momentum last movement. It's fine. We'll get over it.
Cheers. You're welcome.
So
anyway, I think it's going to be a tag team. Fatal 4-way could work as well, but I think it makes more sense to be a tag team.
Yeah.
But not sure. We have to wait and see, don't we?
Yeah.
Might not even wrestle at Mania yet.
I mean, can you imagine the feuds you could get into? Because you're gonna. I mean, we've got a question on this later on, but you got possible NXT call-ups. You've got some big guys coming up. You've got, AJ Nakamura. Yeah, okay, Matt's gonna shudder a bit at that one, but you've got think of the feuds that he could get now, because he is, in theory, he will come back as a top level guy. He won't be going, IC title, Miz, for God's sake. You've got.
Oh, you have to do it.
They have
to do it.
Yeah.
A feud that's been building for nigh on a year and a half, year and a bit at least.
What they must do is they must have the Miz win at Mania, let him break the record of longest IC title reign.
Yeah.
And then when he's finished, the next pay-per-view after that, whatever it is, make him lose it. And then after that, go into a very, very personal feud with Daniel Bryan. He moves to SmackDown and goes, me and you, Daniel. Because, did you see the tweet?
You don't even have to have that. You can have, because the Superstar Shake-Up's straight after Mania, isn't it?
Ooh,
yeah.
Yes, it is,
and you can. Daniel Bryan could come out and be like, "There's only one man I want to fight, and I've traded him over tonight." And out comes the Miz, and he's like, "I'm coming for your IC title belt."
SmackDown after Mania.
But will we see another GM and Daniel Bryan move to just be, quote unquote, just a wrestler? But will he step down from his GM position? Or will he, as I said, will he pull strings to be able to bring someone, bring Miz down to where Miz over to wherever?
Maybe they do that. Maybe it's my last act of general manager is to bring the Miz over, and then he quits and he goes for the title.
Yeah, could work.
Well, someone was, I can't remember who said it last week, but someone said about when Brock finishes or eventually goes to UFC, we need to give Paul Heyman something to do. Give him GM of SmackDown.
He's done it before,
instead of Daniel Bryan.
I would love that. However, Heyman works a very, very loose schedule now. And he said before that he doesn't want to go full time again. Can you blame him? He's been doing wrestling. He's been involved in wrestling since he was about 8. About sort of 13, 14 when he used to go take photos for wrestlers. He's been in and around the business for nigh on 30, 40 years. He's got kids. He's mellowed out a lot as a guy now. I'd love to see it. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Paul Heyman involved in that, but I can't see it happening.
I don't think he's got the passion to go full time anymore. He
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't need to.
He doesn't. I think if you brought him in and made him come in every week, he would get bored in himself. So I think we'd be better off leaving him to come in and either cut promos for somebody else every now and again, or whether you just kind of let him come in and do some stuff backstage for a while. I don't know, but I don't think you can make him to go full time, because I think his promos will go down because of it, because his motivation will not be there.
Yeah, and if he's not motivated, it kind of comes across to the fans as well. Then
could this be this? Okay, this is very, very far fetched, but could the Daniel Bryan return be the spark that brings CM Punk back?
No.
Oh, damn it. No. I'd love it though.
CM Punk won't come back while Triple H is in a position of power.
And that'll be about another 30 years.
I would hazard a guess that they might contact Punk and be like, do you want to try again with our doctors? But I don't think Punk would take it.
They fired him on his wedding day. The likelihood is so small. Did you guys hear the proper shoot podcast he did with Colt Cabana, who he's now no longer friends with, apparently, as well? It was a few years back.
I might have done ages ago.
It was about a year or so after he left, and he just buried everyone I mean, it was. I listened to it the day it came out, and I was just shocked about hearing about absolutely everything about how. I mean, it's sort of well known now, but Daniel Bryan wasn't supposed to be at WrestleMania 30. He wasn't supposed to win it all. They changed it at the last minute because they were so, the headline was going to be Batista v Orton, and it was so. I'm getting completely sidetracked, but yeah, I just imagine it, man. Punk back, just oh god.
I'm pretty sure he is having another fight in the UFC anyway.
Yeah, he is. He is anyway.
So,
later in the year.
Well, it all depends what happens to that, because if he loses again, you never know what's going to happen, do you?
Indeed, because then I could also bring AJ back. And then bring her into the women's division. Anywho, sorry, I do apologise. We have completely sidetracked by Daniel Bryan.
It's not a problem.
Yes.
I don't think we can go through any more of Daniel Bryan. I think it was just epic. I think his work with KO and Sami Zayn was very good. Sami Zayn and KO look like massive heels again.
He was incredibly way to get major heat.
Massive heat. I think you have to put Daniel Bryan in that match at WrestleMania, just say you two against KO and Sami Zayn, and just do it. But obviously it depends on whether. How long ago was it that he was properly cleared? How much training has he done? How much has he?
Apparently, he's been training ever since he retired. So
yeah, he's still done like martial arts style training, but obviously hasn't been able to like full on wrestling. He hasn't been in the ring
taking bumps.
Yeah, well, he can't. I mean, if the WWE guys are going, no, and your contract is WWE, and they find out you're doing that, it's breach of contract, surely.
Yeah.
In theory,
not too sure.
Other bit of news this week was the induction of Mark Henry, Sexual Chocolate.
I'm so happy. I am so happy with this. I love Mark Henry. I loved his Hall of Pain run. It was, oh my god. I've known this has been doing the rounds on Reddit, so I may have stolen it from them. But can you imagine if he comes out with a salmon pink jacket? It would be amazing.
I think someone, I saw that as well.
Did you guys see the fake the original Salmon Pink thing where he faked his retirement just to get another run and do the World's Strongest Slam on Cena, takes the title and goes, "You think I'm done yet? I'm not done," and then goes on a monster run for God knows how long where he was untouchable. Just brilliant. Loved it.
And then he fought Ryback.
Oh yeah. That happened obviously.
Just the ender of feuds right there.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, my favourite time of Mark Henry was when he was in the Nation of Domination.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
He was very good.
I've seen bits of that.
Yeah, he did do a lot. Because obviously the big heat was on The Rock at the time. And obviously you had Owen Hart in there at one point. You had Farouk. You had D'Lo Brown.
D'Lo Brown, yeah.
Godfather, but I can't remember what he's called before that. Something Mustafa, I think, wasn't it?
I don't know.
And they were very good, and they obviously had this massive feud with DX, and that's when DX were coming through. And I think that's the kind of time that I started dipping in and out as a youngster watching it when he was in. The Sexual Chocolate bit was a bit weird.
Of course, it was weird.
It's weird. It's amazing.
A bit weird.
Mae Young's hand.
Mae Young. Yes.
I don't even want to think about that. Just no.
Should we move on?
No.
No, I think he's a very good ambassador for the
exactly.
He's been in the company 25, 20 years.
Oh yeah,
he came from
he came from wrestling. He came from what is it? Strongman weightlifting.
He did. Yeah, was he in the Olympics or something like that?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And then he came straight over.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, he's deadlifting and doing that. I mean, I listened to it. Must have been well over a year or so ago. He did a podcast either with like Y2J or Stone Cold or a wrestling podcast, and the story. I mean, he was on a massive deal. Vince saw him as a huge star, and you could say that up until the Hall of Pain thing, he didn't really fulfill that. He wasn't given. He wasn't
a top-level guy until then.
No, I know, but he was brought in to be a top-level guy. Yeah. He was on a huge deal and on a lot of money. He was given it was on a long-term deal, which you don't get, or guaranteed contracts, as I think they call it. But don't quote me for that, but I'm pretty sure it was something along those lines. I probably should have done more research before the podcast started. But I'm just delighted for the guy because every single person in the back has said, they've come out saying, Mark Henry's an amazing guy. No one's ever said a bad word about the guy, and he's always been there. He's always been there for the guys on the road and everyone. And I can't think of a person more deserving, to be honest.
Especially, he's more deserving than some of the people in there, but we won't get that.
My name is Kid
Rock.
That's celebrities. That's different. We're not.
Yeah, I know.
I was thinking more the Jeff Jarrett kind of type.
Jeff Jarrett.
But we'll move on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Obviously, this week, for the listeners, obviously they can probably tell we're doing things slightly differently this week. We're not going to go through Raw and Smackdown. We're just going to take out best bits at the moment. So obviously, we've talked about Daniel Bryan. Let's talk about Cena and the meme fest that followed.
Yes.
They were incredible.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
I have this idea in my head that it's going to go every week between now and WrestleMania Sunday, where Cena's going to be left high and dry in the ring every Monday night because because Taker can't be bothered to give him an answer. Yeah. And it gets to WrestleMania, and before WrestleMania, Vince McMahon comes out and says, Cena, you're going to be the host of WrestleMania this year, because you can do Nickelodeon Choice Awards, apparently. And I think that's where it'll go, I'm the Cena, I'm at WrestleMania, I'd rather be wrestling though, and then you just hear a gong, and then he comes out halfway through WrestleMania and goes, my answer is yes, and then that's it, and they have a match there and then. A bit like what The Rock did when he just came out and fought Eric Rowan, but it was terrible.
Squashed him.
There isn't actually that many matches on the card so far. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's going to be more matches added, but there's, because I think it's a 4-hour show, not including pre-show.
Yeah, for a WrestleMania, there's
not actually that
matches.
many, so I can see what you're saying. I mean, I kind of want to hear him go, what was it? He goes, I am American Badass. It comes out on the bike. I'm sorry, I want him to come out as American Badass because it will be so much fun. And seeing him riding, because he probably won't be able to drive a motorbike. He'll probably come down in one of those mobility scooters or something.
With his hip hanging out. Yeah, because you can kind of tie that in with Kid Rock, though. Because Kid Rock is being inducted that weekend.
That's why people are putting the two and two together and going, it's going to be an American Badass. Apparently, Bubba Ray does a show of some description. Either it's a podcast or a radio show or something like that. Did a poll. 64% said they wanted him to come back as the American Badass. So that, the people have spoken. The people who listen to Bubba Ray have spoken. It's got to happen. I'd
like to see him as the Ministry one. The Ministry Taker with that awesome theme tune.
Yes.
But that's never going to happen.
No.
I think I mentioned to you, Chris, in one of your streams, that if I heard Limp Bizkit theme,
yes,
I would go crazy. But I think you said that they couldn't play it or something, couldn't they?
No. Again, I don't know for sure on this, but it's just sort of reasonable knowledge that they Limp Bizkit don't have a particularly good relationship with WWE, I believe. I know certainly in the games they don't have the Limp Bizkit themes anymore. I presume in the games they wouldn't anyway, thinking about it. But I mean, on the network, I mean for WrestleMania 17, they did have a rolling theme, but I'm sure, but in other times they've had to overdub it with a fake one or a Kid Rock song or something. I can't remember what it was.
But if that was to happen, I think I would mark out so much.
Oh yes. Definitely. Can't wait.
It's just nostalgia for me.
Oh, yeah, the nostalgia.
It's the years that I was heavily into it and used to stay up good rock time as a 12, 13-year-old boy. So I think I'll get really excited. It also ties in with Cena very early on with the Dr. Thugonomics stuff, because a lot of it's about Taker. A lot of the song for the Dr. Thugonomics of Word Life is about Taker. It's like, try
Charm I'll Make You Famous and things like that, and lyrics in the song. So, you know, again, I'm putting 2 and 2 together and making 48.
The only time they wrestled was when he was Doctor of Thugonomics.
Yeah, and it was all about respect and stuff. That was when Cena was a heel then, as in like Thugonomic was heel. And like
that stupid hat.
Oh, I know, but yes. We used to come out every week in a different baseball jersey, basketball jersey, and be like, yo, sock my, etc. And you get for some reason I thought you guys could see this. I stuck my arm up, pretending to hold a microphone so the crowd would answer it.
Brilliant.
You know, yes. Not a video podcast, Chris. Nice one. Good job.
Not yet. I just think it's gonna happen. I need to get over the fact that he's going to come out of retirement as The Undertaker and just deal with it, because they're not going to keep Cena badgering on about it for nothing to happen.
Or you have or Cena's out in the ring going, "Where's the Undertaker? Where's the Undertaker?" And all you hear is da 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 da, and then Daniel Bryan comes down and then they fight. That'd be fun. It won't happen.
We got to focus on next week where he has a massive match against Kane. Though.
Why Kane?
Brother.
Why?
Brothers of Destruction.
I know, but just
it's like sending your big brother to deal with a bully at school. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
But Kane is just awful now. He's lost all of his heat from when. Sorry, puns galore. That was unintentional. He's lost all of his kind of momentum, shall we say, from back when he was awesome. I stopped when he took his mask.
Kane ruined him completely.
When he took his mask off, I was kind of a bit. But then he did that thing with Snitsky and the crazy stuff. And then when he became Corporate Kane, you might as well just put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Again, wrestling kayfabe. I don't know. I don't know why Kane needs to get involved just because it's his brother. Yeah, that's great.
Well, what else was going to happen? Cena was just going to walk out the ring again and nothing happened. Because he'd go, "Yo, Undertaker, you should be here. Why are you not? You are a coward." And then just drops the mic, walks out the ring. He needed to have an end. There needs to be an end point to that promo because he did the same thing last week. So you can't have it ending. It can't be the exact same thing because you get smarts like us going, "Oh, we just did exactly the same thing as last week. Why not bring out Kane and give him a chokeslam or something?" So you would though. Grass ain't always greener.
I have a feeling next week is when I think we'll see Taker next week. I think my other prediction earlier, because of the Kane thing, is kind of gone. That I had, because I had that before I saw Raw yesterday. And I have a feeling Kane will have a match and then The Undertaker, the lights will go out and he'll just turn up.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
And they'll just attack him together.
Give him a last ride.
We could always have fake Taker from the 90s.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Nostalgia fest.
Is there anything you want to add to this, Matt? Are you good?
No.
Cool. Right. What's next?
Let's get the women's. Let's get the women's out of the way.
We
let's get them out of the way. We'll talk about Brock and Roman later.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the crap out of the way first.
Okay.
I think the women. I didn't watch the women stuff on SmackDown because I didn't have time.
The match I thought was really good, actually. The match.
It was decent.
Charlotte and Natalia actually put on a really good match. But they can do that anyway because they're both very good technical wrestlers.
Yeah. But Carmella obviously cashed in. She had failed to cash in.
Yes.
She did hand the briefcase over, but then Charlotte smacked her in the face, and then Natalia rolled her up. So it didn't give anyone time to put Carmella into the match, which it still teases that Carmella's going to do it at Mania.
She'll lose.
She needs to do it at some point.
I think so. I think she will lose. It's one of those where it's teasing she's going to do it, Get to WrestleMania, she'll lose it. Because
Well, she's done it twice now, hasn't she? So third time lucky is the saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to see if they are going to do it on Charlotte or Asuka or Nia and Alexa. I think maybe they can link it in, like she can't do it on Charlotte, it's just not working, so she tries it on the other match and she does it. But then that might bury the top Raw brand. I don't know.
It's all a bit meh. Yeah. Just gonna have to.
Because no one's invested. She could leave the briefcase in the back of the cab and no one would care. And
that'd actually be quite a good story. And then the cab driver picks it up and then goes to the ring and cashes in on whoever's champion.
The cab driver.
Hey, I just found this.
I mean,
brilliant.
I think she should just cash in on Asuka as soon as that match is over and get the most heat anybody's ever had in their life. That's the only way you're going to get people to care about it. The only way anyone's going to care.
Oh yeah, that would be, but it wouldn't. To me, it would be. It's the equivalent of Jinder winning it. It's like no. Yeah,
but they need a way to have Carmella cash it in, but they also need a way for Asuka's streak to end.
And they also need a way for the Money in the Bank women's Money in the Bank match to be prestigious.
Yeah, exactly, and everyone will remember. Carmella broke the streak with a cash in at WrestleMania.
But does it have to be SmackDown?
It doesn't have to be SmackDown, no.
So she can cash it in on Raw?
She could cash it in on Nia Jax when she
What
wins,
is the Raw match?
I don't think people would care.
Has there actually been a Raw match picture? Has the Raw match been decided for WrestleMania yet?
Yeah. Alexa, it was announced after the... I think, after the Asuka match, because obviously Nia Jax pretty much just chased Alexa around, didn't she? Who is like a bit... I just wanted the Benny Hill music to play in the background.
There was one point where Alexa fell over and Nia Jax stopped for her so she could get up.
Yeah.
It was quite
also, I'll wait for you to get up and then continue chasing you.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I think Kurt Angle announced it as Alexa Bliss was like, you need to fire her. She's a danger. Why are the marshals not arresting her? I was like, because she's not crazy like Brock Lesnar. Enough said. But yeah, he did announce it for WrestleMania. So I think it's a title match as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, that could work. It'd be a fair swap. Asuka for Carmella. Totally fair swap, I think.
Fair, yeah. Completely fair.
Totally.
It all ends up what happens on the Superstar Shake-Up with the women's, I think.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, not much is going on.
It's stale, isn't it? It's just stale.
I think that's the reason why they put...
It's fallen apart. There isn't one. It's Charlotte and Becky and others.
I think that's the reason why they did Charlotte versus Asuka, just to try and get some interest into the women's, because at the moment it's just pretty much dead.
So I do kind of feel sorry for Becky Lynch at the end of the day, because she's a really good wrestler and she's really good. She's got a really good personality and really good at what she does, but she keeps getting overlooked because she's a face. I saw her do a bit of heel work in NXT with Sasha, and she was awesome as a heel. It was only brief, but it was really good fun. Seeing her with that attitude, it was kind of cool. I liked it.
We'll have to see what happens after this, mainly with the Superstar Shake-Up.
Indeed.
She might go to Raw and challenge Nia for the title. Well, if she wins, I assume she'll win.
Yes.
I want Nia to win. I think we need to...
It's all leading up to like a babyface rises against the evil witch.
Well, that's what it is. Nia pretty much already turned face. Just from chasing her around, the crowd went pretty... There was a reasonable pop for that. And, that was it. That's it. She's a face now.
Yeah, and I think we said last week, didn't we, when we were talking about the whole bullying thing?
Yeah.
They need to have Nia come out on top, or else people will just go, oh, so WWE is endorsing bullying.
There's no way on earth that Alexa Bliss is going to win it, unless somebody else interferes.
Yeah. Let's get on to Braun Strowman. His adventure to WrestleMania continues. He's got to find a partner. I'm going to go and start by asking, who do you think his partner's going to be?
Elias.
I saw something absolutely incredible on Twitter. I can't remember who it was. But they said if Braun Strowman came down the ramp with a mirror, that would get the biggest pop ever. And I agree.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Just a massive mirror next to him.
I've got another one.
That'd be incredible.
Another one. You remember Al Snow used to have head?
Yes.
Yeah.
If he does something like that,
I think they're gonna go silly with Braun, because Braun is quite a cartoon character and he can play it off pretty well. But I mean, yeah, I think that could work, because you can tell by the mixed match challenge and things like that, they're playing him off as quite goofy, but a guy who's willing to poke fun at himself and have a laugh. I think that could really work. Have like a mannequin, or just have a mannequin with a beard drawn on it or something. I think that'd be amazing.
I've got no idea who it could be, but what I would love to see is for them to screw over John Cena totally and have him bring out The Undertaker, just to make John Cena cry and have Taker be his partner.
That'd be wow.
That'd be so funny.
That'd annoy so many people. I don't know, not just Cena, but every single Cena lover in the world will just go, no, we want Taker to be in a singles match. And then they were like, wow, whiny.
Every Cena fan would implode. It would be hilarious.
But I think it's all pointing towards Elias. That's the biggest rumour at the moment.
Yes.
But I would rather see either a James Ellsworth type, or just a way that he can do it on his own.
I think he needs to do it on his own.
I think it would be great if
he just looks strong on his own. If you put somebody else into the mix, it's just going to take away from Strowman's star.
Unless it's like a James Ellsworth type that is clearly not going to do anything. It's just there to plug a hole.
Is that why it might be Elias though? Could they get Elias to come in and then Strowman to ruin Elias before the match starts, and then have basically Strowman compete the entire thing on his own? Is that possibly a route?
So they follow him with a double bass and just twat him. It'd be great.
Or just have Hornswoggle.
Yes.
Bring him back.
There's so many possibilities.
Braun Strowman and Mark Henry, do it.
Oh.
Ooh. That's nice. I like that idea.
That's a bit creepy, Smooth.
No, I just like the idea of two. I just like the idea of two big, angry men winning titles.
What, like Big Show and Kane?
The Brothers of Destruction.
No. And but you could have Mark Henry and Strowman keep the titles for a year.
Well, Cass is cleared now, isn't he? But no, I'm sticking with my prediction that Cass is going to win the Andre the Giant thing. Or what about Strowman has a plant in the audience and goes, you come out. And
that'd be good. Yeah, just pick someone from the audience, like someone in Elemental or something.
A Santino-esque moment.
Yeah, that'd be really good, actually.
Doable.
I want to kind of go on to the Cesaro and Sheamus as well, though. But I think they're playing the part very well. They're kind of saying Sheamus. He kind of put a little rift in there as well, because they obviously said, "All right, 1, 2, 3, we'll both get in the ring."
Yeah.
And then Sheamus did the old. And I really like that. And it was just, there's comedy in there constantly, because obviously Strowman is very funny in what he does. He can be serious at the same time, but he comes out as this quite jokey, cartoony character, as we've kind of touched on. But then you've got the kind of Cesaro talking about how Sheamus and him sleep together. And I was just like, this is great. I was literally just weeing with laughter. It was great. Bit of a Mighty Boosh reference in there as well. With old Greg. I did enjoy that too.
Indeed.
But I don't know. We'll see what his partner's gonna be like. I think we're all in agreement with like someone who's not gonna do a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just Strowman.
Yes, it has to be.
I would like it to do it by himself, but if he has to pick someone, like a fan from the ground or a James Ellsworth type or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. The bit we've all been waiting to talk about. The ultimate deletion.
Delete.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was better than the TNA version.
I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. It was just absolutely genius. Right from the straight away when he had the hologram on top of the drone inviting him in, and you were just hooked for the entire thing then. And they just did.
It's just silly, and I just enjoy it.
And they did it properly. They didn't. He didn't just stand there and laugh all the time. They actually used the character how the character was supposed to be used. And
yeah, because they did that for the first 10 seconds when they got into the ring, and then Matt was like, "No, stop, serious now."
Yeah. It was absolutely brilliant, and I just thought when Matt was talking, like looking between the mower of lawns and whatever else it was, and he was just looking between the two, and with that weird with the weird sadistic face that he's got, it was just priceless. It's just absolutely brilliant TV, and they need to now start using this character like that every week.
And we also had the return of Brother Nero in there as well.
Yeah, there was a massive chunk of that was cut out, wasn't it, because of incidents with Jeff Hardy.
Was it really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I don't know where I read it somewhere today that Jeff Hardy had quite a big part in the Ultimate Deletion or whatever this one's called, and most of it got cut because of incidents.
Rebby, yes. Rebby's not one to keep, not one to stay out of a situation. She sent a scathing tweet about Jeff, where basically said, well, we've spent $50,000 of our own money to get this, as we as in Rebby and Matt and House and that house, and Jeff clearly doing his own thing at the moment. So there's a serious rift off the back of this DUI. Is it DUI?
Yeah.
That you can
DWI or something.
DWI. One of those.
They call it DWI. Same thing, DUI, because it's driving under the influence.
Same thing.
Yes. So nonetheless, there's a serious rift there, which is a shame. But ultimately, if you've done something stupid like that, you deserve to be outed for it. And quite frankly, Jeff shouldn't be anywhere near TV for a while, quite frankly. It's a shame that, thinking about it, considering he's got the current charge as it is for driving under the influence, he shouldn't have been involved in it at all, quite frankly.
How can you pull Jeff Hardy out of that when you've got the Uso, whichever Uso it was, with a title, and he wrestles on the pay-per-view at the weekend like nothing happened when he got done earlier in the week?
I think it's a bit different because obviously Jeff's got previous for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, like the time when he was under the influence and he was in a ring, and it just looked horrific.
Yeah.
You cut out there, mate. I think you meant. I'm going to guess you're talking about the TNA match with Sting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's just. He's just a hand grenade, isn't he? He could blow up at any moment. You just don't know when.
Yeah.
And something like this will come out of the window, and that's ruined all your plans for this. And it could potentially hinder.
The gender. Yeah.
Hinder. It could hinder his kind of movement onto the Matt stuff. Matt might lose all of his momentum if you can't have Brother
I don't
Nero.
think Matt will lose it. I think he might just get left out. They might just let him go. At the end of the day, to the WWE crowd who haven't seen the TNA stuff, they've never been introduced to Brother Nero before. They've seen him for 5 seconds or whatever it was, that tiny little clip where he stood next to Bray Wyatt, and other than that, he wasn't in this. They could just cut that character and give Bray Wyatt
I think it was good that they had the little snippet in there. Because people will be like, oh, that's Jeff Hardy. If they haven't watched it before, they'll be like, oh, that's Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
It's like, what's he doing with all this weird contact lenses in his eyes? Just crap like that.
They've left it
I think it was good to have this short little snippet in there.
Yeah, they've left it open for him, but, there's also a chance that if they do have to cut him for whatever reason, then it's not too bad of a big deal for the rest of the Woken universe or whatever they're calling it.
Indeed. Yeah. I still want to say that and it looks like Bray / Sister Abigail, presumably just Bray in this position, is now gone for a foreseeable time, which to me, I think is exactly what he needs. He needs a break away where we don't see him every week. He needs the Ziggler treatment, where in effect he goes away for a while, because then he can come back and he can be booked as an absolute friggin' monster, and that's what he is. Do you remember Bray early on in WWE where he was at the point where he was cutting those scathing promos on Cena and having those matches with Cena? that match was it Royal Rumble with Daniel Bryan, which is one of the best matches I've ever seen. You know, you have, you know, it doesn't necessarily need a family with him. As a singles wrestler, he is awesome.
I think it all, like, when he first came up to the roster and when he was in NXT, he didn't do promos where he just chatted rubbish all the time.
He did a bit, but not to
but not to the extent that he does now.
Yeah.
And
he needs that.
I personally wouldn't mind him managing Harper and Rowan. They don't need it, but I wouldn't mind him going back over there and doing something with them.
Not for me at the moment. I personally think he needs some time away. Away from our screens, away from our eyes.
Break.
No,
I think what you could do is have Bray Wyatt disappear for a month or two, and we totally forget about him, and we think, oh, Matt's deleted him. That's it. It's done. And then all of a sudden, just like that, he comes back and starts doing the weird stuff that he used to do, and just be weird and kind of freak Matt out. And then you can have, I don't know, it means that we're going to get another Bray Wyatt Matt Hardy match, but he could just torment Matt and say, "Oh, you didn't delete me. I'm still here. You thought I was gone.
I now live in you," or something, or something weird like that. I see where you're going, but it doesn't even really have to be with Matt. He can just come back a few months later, fight someone, because obviously he's going to come back. Therefore, he'd get the face cheer, so therefore Matt would need to go heel for that to work. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Matt. He would be fighting. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Do you really think they're not going to put him back in some form of Matt Hardy? Either put him back with Matt Hardy or throw him against Matt Hardy again? Because I mean, I know they've done it already in the TNA version, but when they finally deleted Jeff and he became Brother Nero, they were then thrust together, weren't they? They were teamed up in the end. So I'm not so sure that Bray Wyatt's going away. I don't think Bray Wyatt's gone. I think he'll be back next week, and he'll be a different character, whether it's Sister Abigail, whether it's whoever he was in NXT that you keep raving on about. What was the fella's name? What was he back there early on?
Husky Harris.
Whether he comes back as one of them or whether he gets a totally new gimmick, I think he's back next week. I don't think you're getting a break from Bray Wyatt.
I think I don't want to agree with you. Agree with you is what I'm trying to say there. I think for Bray to be seen as someone who can actually beat people, because Bray doesn't win matches. He spouts a load of nonsense for 45 minutes or however long his promos are. Goes into a feud, calls himself a god, and loses. That's control C, control V, next opponent. It's just how it is with him. So he needs time away from us for I think 3 to 6 months. He needs time away, and then he comes back. He would get a huge pop going, Jesus, Bray Wyatt's back. Oh my God, he's got this new thing. He does something different, and and then he enters a feud with someone like Finn. I mean, okay, he had the half feud with Finn before, but hopefully at that time Finn would be a champion or would be part of the club where it's actually a proper faction rather than just 3 dudes, which it is at the moment. I'll talk about that on another podcast. That's a podcast in its own right, to be honest.
And plus, if Bray goes away, he can sort out any personal issues with the whole JoJo relationship.
Yeah, JoJo / divorce / all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Not paying child's fee, all that personal shit.
Yes.
Indeed. I think that's all we could kind of fit in this week for what we've seen. I think Daniel Bryan has kind of taken over the headlines as well as the ultimate deletion. I don't think anything else was of note. So what we're going to do now, we've all watched the suggestion from Twitter, which was Wrestlemania. Oh no, we've missed Brock, haven't we?
We can do a very, very, very quick thing about Brock if you want, and then then we'll go on to the main thing.
I hated every minute of it.
Yeah, I really wasn't invested. Roman coming out of the crowd was all right, but then tying him up and just having Brock beat on him is just shades of what they've done
in
the past so many times. Just
As soon as the handcuffs went on, it was like, oh, that's it. It's Brock's coming out. He's going to get beat down. We're going to get the sympathetic view of it. It wasn't needed. He didn't need to do that. Just have them square up with a load of coppers in the middle, like they always do, but in a way where it's not the same as everything else. I know I'm contradicting myself there because we've seen it all before with the whole tied up thing, but a tied up thing is supposed to be like a special. I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but it's like. For having them all tied up, having him tied up and then beat down, it's just, what was the point? Are we really supposed to feel sorry for Roman on that? No, not really.
No, well, the fans were shouting, "You deserve it" to him, weren't they? So.
yeah. And this is the thing. This is the thing that I kind of thought of was we've made 2 steps forward with Roman, and then we've made 4 back.
Yeah.
Because we've got him in a position where he's a babyface, or going into Mania looking like the babyface of this feud. You've got him getting cheered for the things he's saying about Brock being a part-timer, turning up, doing whatever he likes. But then you get him come out and say, I'm not leaving until he gets here. And then you get him get beat down by Brock. And then everybody's like, oh, wait, he's been beaten up and he's being booed when he's talking. Yeah. I'm sorry, the crowd was all wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It turned it a little bit sour for me.
It depends on what kind of smarky crowd you get. If you're at like a Brooklyn or a Philly or a Chicago or the quote unquote wrestling towns, there is no way in hell Roman is ever getting cheered in any capacity. He will never get cheered in those arenas. But I mean, in the sort of more impartial ones, like the ones they were at before, where it's a bit more. Hey, we brought our kids here. It's not necessarily saying that we're not diehard fans, but we're not the most vocal of fans, and we're not all smarks. We're a bit more like, hey, we'll just sort of, go with it. Yes. But it is
with the whole chair, I still stand by my point. I think it's going to be a no DQ match, and I think that was reaffirmed from Raw.
Yeah, it will be. It definitely will
be.
Yeah. I'm still looking forward to the match.
I'm not. No. I'm really not.
I think that's
killed
because
momentum for me.
They could turn it around, maybe. I don't know. But if it turns out that the next 2 to 3 weeks is going to be an absolute car wreck, then it might change my mind next week. I don't know. I think they need to bring it back next week on Raw and do something good with it to get me feeling as excited as I was last week. Because I don't know. I'm in 2 minds. I want to see it, and I can't wait to see it because of what's happened before, but where are they going?
Roman would have been better off not showing up. If he'd have not shown up this week, let Lesnar stand around and bounce about and Heyman cut a promo and then answer it next week, he'd have been far better off doing that. This has just killed all the momentum of it. The crowd that were 50-50 last week were 100% against him again this week, and it's just we're back to square one, and he's now going to get booed at Mania again.
To me, I think it could have been done so differently. I mean, all it would have taken is Brock not showing up again this week. Roman stands in the ring again and goes, "Yo, I'm suspended. I'm supposed to be suspended / fired, but I still turned up. Where the hell is Brock?" And then that would have worked. You don't have the face-to-face until the go-home show. That could have been set up so perfectly to have the go-home show where they have a line of coppers in the middle, them 2 facing at each other, and they go at it hammer and tongs for a couple of minutes. They all get separated. As long as they don't... do you remember that stupid thing they did a couple of years ago where they're like jostling for the belt?
Yeah.
As long as it's not like that, then that's all it needed. Now you're in a position where Brock's got to show up next week, and Roman's going to have to beat on him so he gets even. Or next week Roman comes back and is like, "Yo, where's Brock? I'm back. I'm round to fight him. Where is he? Oh, he's not here. Oh, okay then." So then now Roman has to go and decimate everyone on the roster. As in, he interrupts matches, he kicks off, he fights absolutely everything and everyone, and that's the only way I can see this being saved. Personally,
I agree. I think you've hit the nail right on the head. We'll do what we were supposed to do 5 minutes ago, which was we asked our listeners this week to kind of look at 4 matches. The one that came out as the clear winner was WrestleMania X7 or WrestleMania 17 if you're a normal human being. And we looked at Austin versus The Rock, and it's such a great match. It is such a great match.
Yes.
And the promo.
The promo is just amazing. It sets you really up for this idea of no one can lose. That it's all on the line. Whether there's a title in there or not, it's bragging rights as well, because of the old Deborah thing, which I kind of forgot about.
And it was back
Deborah's
when the titles actually meant something as well.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and I made a lot of kind of links to now of wrestling that we see today, and things like obviously blading is gone. We're never going to get blading back. But the gruesome look of Stone Cold's face, where he's just covered in blood, and The Rock is covered in blood, and it's going into his mouth, and you've got...
You forget about it, because I mean, I've not seen it in a while. Just back to the promo very quickly, arguably the best pre-match promo ever. I can't listen to My Way without thinking about it. No. But anyway, moving on from that. It's like the brutal chair shots. You just forget that. Oh yeah, that's right. They have headshot chair shots in this. Some of them were not protected. 1 or 2 of them were definitely not protected. And oh my god, just the thought of it, because how hard Austin was swinging that chair. But
and things like hitting. You don't see this anymore. Hitting them with the belt.
Yeah,
I totally forgot. I was trying to, when I saw it, because I saw obviously at the start of the match, he picks the belt up and hits him across the face, and he does it again later on. And I was trying to figure out, when was the last time we saw a current feud or current match where they've picked up the belt and hit somebody with it?
They don't have objects to the head anymore.
But you could protect a belt to the face.
Oh, I just remembered that. The one thing I did like was they didn't stand around at the start of matches like some big WrestleMania matches do. As soon as The Rock got off that top rope, Austin just piled into him. And it was just everything about the match was incredible. It was fast paced. It was slow paced when it needed to be. And obviously, Matt, you haven't seen it you hadn't seen it before. This was your first time watching it. So I would love to know what you thought of it.
Well, you see, I've got a bit of an issue with it, and it's not that it's a bad match or anything. I mean, it was really enjoyable, and obviously it's something that I've been going through older pay-per-views recently. I just hadn't got this far. I just started off when I started watching back in 1997, and I've gone from the 97 Rumble. I've been working my way slowly up, and I haven't got this far yet. But my big issue is, it's just every single pay-per-view, you've got 8 people with the head cut open, so the blood, to you guys, like you say, going back...
Oh, it was like that.
Like you say, going back, the blood was really, really kind of gruesome and violent, but that was the norm back then. And I think because I've been watching some of the older pay-per-views, that kind of took away from it for me. And I also think it shows that the guys that are on that level back then are nowhere near the quality of the guys that are at the top of the wrestling world now. The wrestling between the two was a bit sloppy. There was...
I would agree. They were... Like, if you compare them to the likes of Nakamura, AJ Styles, they're nowhere near the caliber of those two. But entertaining and telling a story, The Rock and Austin are definitely better.
Totally. I think
it kind of ties in.
Basically, as characters, WWF back then was they created characters really well. They got you invested. They told stories with everything. It wasn't just, it was the promos weren't scripted, so that you could actually tell a story. You had proper, just in your face brutalness as well. There was all sorts going on. but at the same time, the wrestling was just slightly kind of looser, and I think they need to change bits around so that we've got. If we could get somebody to write a character and let them go off the way that Stone Cold or The Rock did now, we could have even better than this. I think this has kind of shown that, all right, the wrestling isn't as bad, isn't quite as good, but this was kind of the pinnacle of the WWE. This was kind of when it was at its peak, because they let the guys go off and tell their story and hit each other and be brutal.
Yeah.
And
which it kind of links in with the question we had last week of, is storytelling dead? Like, is kayfabe dead? And does work rate top that? It was like back then, storytelling was the main thing.
Yeah, storytelling was the biggest kind of foray into the wrestling was secondary to the storytelling, and the storytelling was a lot more. They had a lot more freedom back then because it wasn't the PG era. They could swear. They could. Obviously, the blood and the blading and all of that was the norm back then. But now, because of all the changes, if you, like Matt says, if you let them have free reign now, you wouldn't be able to do it because Vince wouldn't like it. He's obviously got to think what's best for business. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm Triple H again. But it's that idea of what's best for the overall company is not going to be, right, let Roman Reigns do what he likes, because he could come in and start dropping the F-bomb every 5 minutes, and then they'll lose even more viewers. I don't know. The world's changed for wrestling, and
definitely, yeah.
It's very difficult to compare what happened then between now. We can appreciate the good storytelling and, it was better back when, but what we get now is good, but in different ways.
Well, all you have to do is look back at the pay-per-views back then, and anything below the main event was quite diabolical. You had like X-Pac, who was an okay wrestler, if you want. He wasn't. And he was in title feuds and whatnot. You obviously had the atrocious women wrestling, minus Lita and Trish Stratus.
Yeah.
Like, past the main event guys like Triple H, Kurt Angle, Rock Austin. It wasn't... But now, past the main event guys, you've got Kevin Owens, you've got Sami Zayn, you've got, like, amazing technical wrestlers.
Yeah, there's definitely a far bit better strength in depth in the WWE at the moment than there was back then.
Sorry about that, guys. We had a bit of technical difficulties. But we were, before Kanga unfortunately left us with the technical difficulties, we were talking about kind of chair shots to the head, and if we go back to that, and just, what was your opinion on it?
Well, yeah, apologies everyone. Unfortunately, my PC isn't the best sometimes. It decides to just fall over sometimes, which is useful. So, from what I remember, what we were talking about, what I was saying was it was just how brutal those unprotected chair shots were, and I don't really know where to go from there. To be honest, it was just the match was it's so different than what we have now. If you think about it,
that's what that's what we kind of, obviously when you kind of cut out, with me, Matt and Jack would talk about the differences between this and now. And I don't want to go back because obviously this edit's going to be an absolute nightmare for you. But in terms of, in that we were saying like the storytelling took a lot more than the wrestling. Matt kind of had this idea of the wrestling is a little bit more sloppy than you probably see now.
Yeah.
In terms of compare it to what you see these days with AJ Styles, with Cena, with whoever, and it was the storytelling. It was this idea of two men, everything's on the line. You've got a title. You've got to hit each other as hard as you can. It was near fall after near fall after near fall. Let's exchange finishers. Let's hit each other as many times with objects that we can find, whether it's a belt, a ring bell, or a chair. Yeah. And it was more of It was more of a brawl type of match.
Talking about exchanging finishes. Sorry, Chris, for interrupting.
Go on.
This was the first feud that I can remember where they properly stole each other's finishes.
Yeah.
And it was really like quite a big no-no back then. Like it was.
Definitely, yeah.
Like for the older generation of wrestlers, it was like that's like the most personal you can get if you're stealing your moves.
Yeah, that was a big no-no. I think Jericho started doing it a bit after that. But I mean, I also, if I remember correctly, it's one of the few times I've ever seen people kick out the Stone Cold Stunner as well. I mean, it was very rare for people to actually kick out of that.
It was also the way The Rock used to be
really well, I thought.
Yeah, it was also the way that The Rock used to react to the being stunned as well. He used to just roll and flail around the ring after each stunner. And it was just like...
Rocky sells how he wants.
Yeah, he's selling at the end though. He's very good. When you see Vince and The Rock Vince and Stone Cold have shook hands, they've drunk beers, and as they're at the top of the ramp and they've gone back through the curtain, The Rock's face and his selling at that point is just absolute gold.
Oh, it definitely is. And one thing that I noticed. Sorry to cut across you really quickly. I remember I don't remember ever seeing this before, but Stone Cold puts a beer next to The Rock's head. I'd never realised that. Because obviously the guy throwing the beers to Stone Cold, who's a legend by the way. He opens 3, puts one next to The Rock's head, gives one to Vince, and takes one, and them two walk off. I'd never seen that before. I'd never realised it.
No, I'd never.
Excuse me.
It's kind of I don't know. Looking at it now, and thinking, well, he's put that beer down. What's going to happen now? Are they going to get up? They're going to share a beer and just be that, like you get now, where the mutual respect of in-ring performance. But again, back then, that kind of thing wasn't done that much.
I think it harks back to that promo pre WrestleMania where they're clanging beers at each other, and then Rock puts one next to Stone Cold's head. Yeah. So I think that's sort of the reply to it. And Stone Cold also sticks his middle finger up at The Rock when he's on the floor. I didn't notice that as well. He hands him the beer and he's sort of half giving him the middle finger at the same time.
Yeah.
So good. Great. So good.
It was very good.
It's just a shame they fell apart.
Because we did link it back to last week's question about is storytelling dead and is work rate more effective nowadays? And that's the sort of match which you can tell it's all about the storytelling. It's not really about the wrestling.
Definitely. And because it was a very, very partisan crowd as well, Texas. I'd never seen The Rock get booed like that before. Because I'd only known The Rock as a face. And for him to get booed like that, I was like, what is this? I've never known that. And nuclear.
But as well, it's an Austin kind of heel turn as well.
It was the heel turn that Austin hated. But so no, he wanted to do it. But
it was class. I really enjoyed his heel turn. To be fair, him and Kurt Angle and Vince was some of the best comedy gold you could have got.
Agreed. Yeah, that was fantastic. But I mean, it's just he Austin himself said he didn't enjoy the heel run. He wanted, he
didn't need to be face or heel. To be fair,
no, he was a tweener. He was a tweener, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The fans are going to cheer him either way.
Yeah, definitely. Indeed.
He is. I think this is going off on a tangent of the whole show, but the ending promo, they bring back the My Way, and it shows you, and I miss this about
everything that happens.
This is what happened over WrestleMania, and it's a short video package of
amazing.
The biggest spots. And I made a bold statement in my notes of, is this the best Mania ever?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Because if you look back and you look at the matches, I've only put some of the ones that are notable here, but you've got Angle versus Benoit.
Amazing match.
Yeah.
You have Jericho versus William Regal, who match. I think William Regal was very underrated.
William Regal, best wrestler ever. Come on, he's British. Stick up for the boy.
Yeah, exactly. He was just underrated. The TLC match with the brutal spear off the holding the belts. One of the best TLC matches I've ever seen. You've got Taker versus Triple H. You've got McMahon versus McMahon.
Good match.
And then you finish with that. I just sat there and went. I remember watching this for the first time ever, and thinking, "Wow!" I've now looked back. I've been through many different Manias since then, and I've watched many different Manias since then, and just gone, "This has to be." In my opinion, one of the best. It
is the best. It's been voted the best multiple times. It also culminates the end point of the Attitude Era. That is where the Attitude Era ends. I say unofficial or official, whatever, but it's sort of well known that that's where it ends. And that's when they move on to whatever they go from there. But I mean...
Ruthless Aggression.
It goes into Ruthless Aggression after that, slowly, because it sort of builds up the scene a year or two later. But the thing with it is that every match, apart from the gimmick battle royale, was, whatever. But like everything else was just, I just loved it. Right to Censor got their beat down to end Right to Censor. China got her victory. Okay, it was a women's match instead of like an IC title match, which is what she was used to fighting in before. But she got her WrestleMania moment. That's awesome. Every other match hit on point. Every person delivered when they said. There was no major botches. The TLC match was brutal. One of just the most awe-inspiring matches I've ever seen. I remember my take from WrestleMania 17 being, how old was I? It was 2001, so I must have been, I can't do maths, 13, 14 years old. 13 at the time, definitely. It was just mind-blowing. I was 14. Sorry, it doesn't really matter. Semantics, Chris, semantics. But it was just... I remember seeing it the next day because my friends at my school used to trade tapes and stuff, and we'd be like, "You have to see this. This is the best ever." My mate went and copied it 3 or 4 times with his, 2 video recorders at the same time, hit record on one, etc. So he made duplicates, shared it around, and we talked about it for months afterwards. It was just everything that when wrestling, it goes back to Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. That amazing video done by. Whoever, I can't remember, Stephen Amell. No, it's not Stephen Amell, it's the other one. Max Landis, that's it. When wrestling is done right, it is amazing. And that's just a culmination of everything.
It just shows wrestling was done right for the whole of that show.
Yes, it was. As a perfect curtain call for the Attitude Era as well.
It just gives me chills listening to My Way and just seeing
definitely
all of those moments in one video package. It's just I can't. I'm gonna cry.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, massively. Anybody got any more on that or?
I would agree. It's definitely the best by an absolute mile. I'm just thinking, obviously, this Mania coming up is going to be the biggest by a mile.
In terms of size?
In terms of, calibre of matches and all that, whatnot. And I'm just wondering whether it could top it. It has every chance to with the calibre of matches.
It has the potential to match it, maybe even surpass it. With the calibre of matches lined up so far, we'll have to see.
There are some absolute duds in this Mania, but...
Yes.
Yeah, it could, like you said, it's got every potential to do it. But with the question, could this be the best Mania in terms of wrestling, not necessarily storytelling?
In terms of wrestling, absolutely. In terms of actual pure wrestling, yes, it probably will be. But in terms of storyline, it'd be very, very hard.
And then people are gonna compare the two as well, and just gonna, like I said, I think
if you start comparing WrestleManias, you're setting yourself up for the hardest task known to man, because there's so many moments of certain Manias. You could take the one we discussed last week, Daniel Bryan and The Undertaker, as being one of those which is up there. I can never compare a WrestleMania with another WrestleMania because of the era that you're in and the calibre of what the storytelling was like then and between now. If you start comparing Manias, my personal opinion, you're just going to be going round and round in circles and you'll never pick one.
Yeah, because there's some Manias which have got amazing moments and the rest of the card's been crap. And then there's some that's had, I figure you probably just said this, but I'm just sort of clarifying it myself. Indeed.
Cool. Final then. We've had some questions in. I believe these are from. Remind me who they're from again.
Always Paul. Legend Paul.
Always Paul.
Always Paul.
Always Paul. We did have a question from Kev, but he asked which of our lineup is not like most girls, and I think we know who that is. Yeah, exactly.
Cheers, Kev.
I'll see you after Mania, Kev. First question we've got is the prediction of who's going to come up from NXT.
Shall we all pick one?
I think we need to pick a male, a female, and a tag team.
Ooh, okay. Jack first.
Tag team, Authors of Pain. Male, female, I think Ember Moon.
Damn it.
And male, it's either going to be Gargano or Cien Almas. I think the male's more.
I pretty much nailed on exactly what I was going to say there. To be honest, it won't. Or we could have the duo of Ciampa and Gargano coming up at the same time.
I think the male's less predictable in my opinion, or it could be Adam Cole if they don't want him in NXT for much longer with the injury to one of his mates.
I like the Undisputed Era as a 3-guy faction though. I think if you take Adam Cole out, I think you lose. I think he's very good at being a guy who's...
Yeah. I think it's definitely certain that Authors of Pain will definitely go up because they're doing nothing in the tag team division yet at the moment.
The only other thing I think with Adam Cole is if you bring him up, you put him with Finn Balor and the Balor Club and you do it properly. Because he's already been in Bullet Club. Granted, it wasn't with those people. Yeah. It was when Kenny Omega was leader. Yeah. But my personal opinion, I think male will be Almas because he's been in the Royal Rumble. I'm just going on past.
Or both. I mean, I'm not be funny. They could do both.
They could do both,
and they could look to release a few of the other guys because it's always after WrestleMania's the European tour, then it's Future Endeavour. So it's going to be Future Endeavours for like Ty Dillinger and a few others. Ty Dillinger's going to go because he's what's he done? He's the first one who's had a match like last night in about months on TV on a SmackDown.
He was on the Fastlane pre-show, Chris. Don't forget about that.
Moving on.
The tag team.
Sanity.
I do agree. Authors of Pain, but I also think Sanity.
Yeah, Sanity would be amazing. All of them.
I think they could wait.
Nexus style.
Have they won a tag team? Have they won a belt yet?
I think they won.
They had the tag titles.
Pretty sure they won it at some stage.
Yeah, they had the tag titles, and then they lost them to the Undisputed Era.
Oh, did they hold it in when they went into that War Games match?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Is Nikki Cross
I
back
thought the
yet?
Authors of Pain had it.
Is Nikki Cross fit yet? Is she back?
Can't remember.
Because think about it, guys. We're not that well versed with NXT. I watch the takeovers. I don't watch week to week.
I don't watch it week to week.
I personally think that they could probably push Sanity to another title push in NXT and then wait until after SummerSlam to bring them up. Authors of Pain aren't doing that.
You need to bring all four of them together.
Yeah, I think they don't. Have Authors of Pain had the tag team titles twice? They certainly had a long run with them.
They've certainly had it once.
So.
I don't.
They
have
definitely had a long run with them either way.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're not going to win the tag titles again. So they're, in my opinion, they're definitely coming up.
Yeah.
I think that's my other one is.
I think Sanity are definitely close.
Sanity are close. Almas is probably the most predictable male if he loses the title at NXT. If we see him lose the title, I think it's odds-on favourite that he'll be getting called up. Also with previous trends of Royal Rumbles, etc. The female, I don't really know.
It's going to be Ember Moon.
Ember Moon's the only credible one at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Do they need to bring up a woman?
I mean, will they brought up Alexa Bliss, Dana Brooke, Nia Jax?
But they brought six up like
Ember
3 months
Moon's been in NXT for ages,
good,
and they could go back and have a when they bring her up, say 6 months to a year later, they can have another feud with her and Asuka.
They could bring the Iconic Duo up, to be honest. I mean that they've been in NXT for a long time, and to be honest, they're quite entertaining. I mean, obviously at the moment we're not seeing women's tag team titles and things like that, but with enough women on there, yeah, you could.
They could do that
as a women's tag team.
They could do that because
honestly,
obviously they got Absolution and the Riot Squad. They got Becky Lynch and Naomi using to tag every week now.
Yeah, I think
my only issue with that. Sorry, my only issue with that is if you start bringing in tag team titles for women, you're going to have too many titles and not enough time to show them. And
that is true. And now,
if you think about the cruiserweights, they've now potentially getting a tag team title. Yes, they have 205 Live, and it's just them, and they don't seem to be on either brand at the moment. But you can't. If you start bringing more titles in, it means more people get shoved down the card. It means more people who would normally have the first match on a pay-per-view will be in the pre-show. It's people like Rusev.
And the fact that it's now dual-branded pay-per-views, they won't have time for it either, would they?
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's a shame now because a little while ago we were screaming out for talent. Don't get me wrong, I'm not putting the Iconic Duo in this position. I'm just saying for the sake of it. It's not the reason I said that they're not talented, but I would like to see them called up at some stage. But I mean, you look at it a couple of years ago, we were dying to go, we need some proper talent. The state, okay, Randy Orton's champion again, woohoo. Who gives a toss? But now you've got, now in a position where we go, we haven't got enough for you guys on the roster, so you guys have to stay in NXT. Otherwise you'll be kicking, you'll end up like Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, or go to 205 Live.
Yeah, or go to 205. Good luck with that. That's a real career.
The women definitely need somebody fresh in, just to mix it up a bit, because I'm fed up of seeing Natalia and all of those. But again, apart from Ember Moon, I think the only other person you could probably take out of that is Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, she's not been in
now
it.
Now that Ronda Rousey's on the main roster,
she's not ready.
They're very good friends, though. I don't know.
And the thing is, she's green as God knows what at the moment. I don't think that she's ready because she's only just debuted at NXT, isn't she?
The way I thought about it is at Takeover, her and Ember Moon are having the title match. Put the title on Shayna Baszler, and then go for that Mae Young Classic feud with Kairi Sane again, because that could be quite a good feud again. And then have Ember Moon come up and. Because they do need the gap between really good female wrestlers and really bad female wrestlers is far too big at the moment. Like you got the likes of Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke at the bottom. Like, what the hell are they doing?
Alicia Fox. Matt, your predictions of NXT call-ups. Who've you got? Male, female, and a tag team.
This is where I admit that I think I've seen like 3 NXT shows and that's about it, and I know absolutely nothing. I've seen the Authors of Pain, and they obviously look like badasses, but I'd guess that they'd be the tag team. To be honest with you, I couldn't name another tag team, so I think we'll probably see Shayna Baszler, and I think we'll see her because I think they're going to want to do some form of 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen, and the only way to do that is to get somebody else or get her up to team with Ronda.
Good work.
And I think that's what Ronda Rousey's going into after Mania. I don't think they're going to stick her in a singles just yet. I think they're going to try and get her to work with somebody else, have them rip apart the main roster of women in the general tag matches that they do. So, I think you'll probably see Shayna Baszler. As for the men, I'd personally want to see Adam Cole. Whether he'll get the call up, I'm not so sure.
We also got Drew Galloway to remember as well. I don't know how long his injury is.
He's got a nasty torn bicep, and he's a little while away.
Even then, he'd want to come back for his NXT title because he had to.
Yeah, but then if it is Almas that gets called up, there's no point really to.
True.
I suppose. Yeah, it depends on how they book it. I suppose.
Like I said, we got the Superstar shake-up straight after Mania, so we never know what's going to happen.
It's going to be good fun. Nonetheless, it's always going to be fun. So I'll tell you what, I'll ask because I'm awesome. I don't know why I came up with that one. Who is Roman facing after Mania? Brock.
No, I don't want to see it anymore.
No.
I don't want to see it anymore.
Seth or
Seth
returning
Rollins.
Dean Ambrose.
But then what happened about the Shield?
I think there's definitely a Shield versus Club on the horizon.
Yeah, I suppose. Could have Miz if he drops the IC title not long after the.
And they could work that in.
Braun.
Oh.
They've only just
Finn Balor. Roman versus Finn.
Yeah, it could work.
Have it.
Club turn
yeah, because Finn can come out and just go.
Yeah.
My title, I haven't lost it.
And they can have the clubs as a heel, which Finn Balor as a heel is great anyway.
Yeah. And
have the Shield versus the club, have that kind of dominate the main roster on Raw. And I think that I'd really enjoy that.
The other side of that is that we've had 3 or however many long years. It wasn't. When did Brock win the title back? What was it, November last year? So we've had a long ass time where we've had a heel champion. We need to have a face champion for a little while.
Yeah, no, have Roman as the face champion until like SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not that long, but have that feuds. I reckon of club versus. Well, it all depends on when Dean Ambrose comes back, because I don't know when he's coming back. I would still go for Finn Balor.
Okay. Anyone else got any thoughts on that? I think Finn's the best shout to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I still think maybe. You could say someone like Rollins.
I was gonna say Braun
again,
but if he's gonna win the tag team titles on his own,
him and Mannequin, it'd be amazing. Or him and A.
What does everybody want?
Indeed.
Heard. Moppy. Oh no, I forgot about that.
What do you reckon?
Yes.
What do you reckon, Matt?
Perry Saturn.
Roman's your guy. He's your boy.
I think he's going to murder Seth Rollins. I think after the match that they had at the start of that, what am I even talking about? The thing from Raw the other week.
The gauntlet match.
The big long Raw match. I think that was the perfect way to set it up. I think they've been, what was it? They were in the Royal Rumble and the Chamber together, were they?
Yes.
Definitely the Rumble, yes.
And they kept they kept showing that they both had respect for each other while still being in the Shield, because I'm pretty sure the Shield's just going to kind of get pushed under the carpet until Ambrose is back. But I think they'll probably, Rollins is going to say he's got as much right as Reigns to be in the title picture, and I reckon that'll be the first feud after Mania.
Yeah, could work.
The next one was
Nakamura. Yeah.
Don't know.
Daniel Bryan.
It depends. It depends on what happens at Mania. If he wins the title, you need somebody other than AJ Styles or Jinder Mahal to not be there. It needs to be somebody different. I don't know. Nakamura's a difficult one to pick who'd have in a feud. I know Chris has said Daniel Bryan.
I can't think of anyone.
Well, maybe KO or Sami Zayn. One of those. Yeah, but no. It'll be Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens, because I want to try and replicate the amazing matches in NXT, right, Matt?
I'm assuming that Smoothman's going for Dolph Ziggler, right?
No, I've changed my mind on Roman Reigns after you said about Sami Zayn in NXT. Roman versus Samoa Joe.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh no. Yes, because the live events, they are dubbing main events over the live events in the UK as Roman versus Samoa Joe. I like that. I do like that.
Joe is heel. Joe is heel as well, so we wouldn't be forced to do a face versus face situation with Seth and Roman, or have to turn someone. Round of applause for Jack on that one. I've got Samoa Joe. That makes total sense.
I still don't know who Nakamura's going to face. Still haven't got an answer for that.
Nakamura's up in the air.
AJ, I'm gonna stick with AJ for a month.
Is Nakamura definitely winning it though?
Don't know. I think they need to put it on Nakamura.
Yeah, they do.
But I'm not too sure.
AJ doesn't need the title because I don't think AJ needs the title anymore. I think AJ's going to go to Raw. Whether we see a Roman versus AJ situation at some stage, that could be quite a good match. But I think AJ's going to Raw. WWE are really, really behind AJ now, and quite frankly, they love him. They want to stick him on the quote unquote A show. My kid's coughing. But yeah, I think that work.
Yeah, I honestly can't think who Nakamura would face. Not off the top of my head.
It could be anyone. Come on.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. Either Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn.
Corey Graves, why not?
Why not? Booker T, bring back Booker T.
Flip a
coin. He could get cleared, couldn't he?
If Bryan can get cleared, then Corey Graves can. Stay down.
Exactly.
Graves was an awesome
Graves. I don't think he needs to now because he's a great colour commentator, and he's probably earning quite a decent whack for doing both SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah, you could do the Taz role and just smash things over people's heads. Why not?
Give everyone else concussions. Fuck it.
Yeah. I'm not editing out swearing as well, so tough at staying in. It's staying
cool. I'm not doing it, so it's good. I don't swear.
No, don't. You're a good boy.
I'm a good human being.
I haven't.
I know. I think I'm the only one that swore this week.
Yes, you are.
I don't apologise.
You should.
Did we have any more questions from?
No.
I think that was. I think
that was it. That was it for today's one. I'm sure we can, because for some reason we didn't. A tweet went out late. My fault. I didn't retweet it when I should have. And whatever. I'll take responsibility for questions not getting out until about 3 hours before we recorded. We are totally professional on this.
We are very. We're in teething problems stage. That's what it is. We'll go with that. What we'll do again, we'll send out some more. We'll send a tweet out earlier this time. Once this episode goes out, we'll get a tweet.
I've missed the last question.
What's the question?
There was one more question.
What's the one?
The last question was, what will be the best match across the whole of Mania weekend from either NXT, Ring of Honor, or WWE?
I think we need to leave that till next week.
Yeah, we do because we don't know. I don't know enough about the other cards. I don't know.
I have a feeling.
We can answer that.
Out there. The North American title match in NXT, the six-man ladder match.
That's a good one.
I think
we'll do that. The Go Home podcast to WrestleMania. That can be a question for them.
Yeah. And I think if we do it, I think we need to come up with we have to sell it to each other. Which one we think is going to be the best?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
All right.
And see, and maybe if we pick names randomly and who gets whatever show, and we have to pick
Dragon's Den style
one from there. Yeah, we have to say this is why this one's going to be the best.
Yeah. Okay. Then.
That might be good for the Go Home show.
Yeah, that's
which is also going to be. I'm putting it out there. It's going to be named the Smoothman's Birthday Podcast.
That is true as well.
That's the week of my birthday. So WrestleMania's on my birthday.
Yeah. Talking about WrestleMania, there is going to be another poll out on Twitter for next week's WrestleMania moment / match review. So,
yes, indeed.
Can I make a suggestion that we go a little bit older?
Yes.
I want to watch something that I haven't watched before from the past.
Is that you just want to talk about Randy Savage and stroke your little doll that you've got, don't you?
But you see, the thing is basically anything pre-WrestleMania 16 I have not seen. So
yeah, me too.
So yeah, okay. I'm up for going.
We'll put. I'll put out older matches then.
Yeah.
You remember how I said that I thought WrestleMania X7 was kind of the pinnacle of WWE, where they had all right wrestling and great promos, and now we've got great wrestling and all right promos. Well, anything pre about WrestleMania 15, you've got bad wrestling and bad promos.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing.
This might take up a full podcast.
We are going to turn off the older demographics straight away by going, we're going, oh no, Stone Cold versus Bret was shit. Oh, God. Oh.
What's this? They don't know anything. They weren't born.
Bloody smart.
Spoilers, it was shit.
Great.
Well, hopefully, when we listen back to this, and once you listen to it, hopefully the edits will be seamless. We do apologise again for any technical difficulties and any mismatch of content that you will listen to. Obviously, we are still in the teething stages. Also, if you are interested in giving us some feedback, we are greatly appreciating of it. Obviously, this goes out on YouTube at the moment. If you could just pop in the description any kind of suggestions, any questions as well. Doesn't have to be just on Twitter. Just to kind of help us out, because some of us are quite new to this, especially me. So, and I think we'll leave it there.
Yes, indeed.
Once again, my name was Smoothman. We have Jack, Chris, and Matt. I can't bother to do the Twitter. Someone else can do that.
No, we don't need individual ones. Who cares about individuals, right? To be sure, just if you've got anything you want to say to us, make sure you tweet at BadBookersWP with my child coughing in the background. I don't know whether you can hear that. At BadBookersWP. Make sure you message us. I need to go. My kid's woken up. I'll see you later, guys. Thank you.
No worries.
See you, Chris.
Thank you very much.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.